Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs Podcast presented by DraftKings, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app, use the promo code CHGO when you sign up. The Cubs lose another one in the nation's capital. Luke Stuckmeyer, Ryan Herrera, Corey Friedman, and an unhappy Cody Delmendo with you. The chat, I assume, is here and will also be slightly perturbed tonight, might be the word.
Yeah.
Irritated. Gary Ross says, free anyone. So, let's get to the key moment of the game, right? The ninth inning comes up. First and second, nobody out. Hosmer's up. What do you expect to happen, and what do you think of what happened?
Well, so I'm going to try to get in here before Cody goes off because I can feel the steam coming out of his ears.
It's brewing right now. It's percolating.
Like, listen, man, we've just seen him sloppy lately, right? Getting thrown out on the bases, making mistakes on the bases, gaffes in the field, and we know he hasn't been good at the plate. But, like, the thing that really frustrates me in this moment is if somebody is playing first base or DH for your baseball team, why in the world do you have them laying down a bunt in the ninth inning after the first two guys just ripped hard-hit singles? Laying down a bunt, then he shouldn't be the first baseman of the DH. In this league, that's just... Anthony Rizzo's coming up in that situation and laying down a bunt? Come on. And then we get on to, and why I brought up the other gaffes, it's an awful bunt. A terrible bunt. When we were sitting there watching the game, I said, anything but a double play, Eric, and he didn't even hit the ball on the ground, and he still almost hit into a double play. It's like almost impossible. But if you have a guy who will probably DH tomorrow, right, that you don't feel comfortable letting swing the bat with 2 on and no outs against a pitcher that you are seeing well, right, why in the world is he in that position? Why is he on the team? You don't believe in him to hit. What is he here for then?
He also was 0 for 2 and had ground into a double play in the game, so it's not like he'd had a great game at the plate. I also question what Jack was saying, I believe, in the chat, and he said Velasquez was on the bench. You used him to pinch run. Why not use him to pinch hit?
Yeah.
Or Rios, let Rios swing away. But like if you don't believe in if you're worried that Hosmer's going to ground into a double play, why are you letting him bat?
I do.
That wasn't even the best move. We're going to talk about Mervis and Morel. I'm assuming that's what the chat's going to be wild about. That's not even a good decision with the current roster. This one isn't even about Mervis and Morel. Of course you would have rather Matt Mervis in that spot. He hits a 3-run dinger, right? In my head, he hits a 3-run dinger. But that's not even a good choice with the current roster. Your first baseman in DH is bunting, and that's the bunt he lays out? It's well past time that he's not on this team. I don't know what else you want to see.
I do want to, like, not wait. I do want to, like, someone that's in Washington to tweet out, if it make sure that it was David Ross's decision, right? Like, I want that to happen before we get too far into it.
That's
fine. But
I
think we can, based on what's happened in the past, right? Like that Patrick Wisdom bunt, a month ago?
Yeah.
Wherever, I didn't remember where they were. But that Patrick Wisdom bunt, and that was David Ross's call. I think, assuming it's David Ross's call, like usually I try to look at things from David Ross's perspective, like not to be reactionary because it didn't work out, but just like the thought process behind why he makes some decisions.
First guess instead of second guess.
Yeah, right. But this, if it was indeed David Ross's decision to lay the bunt down, I feel the same way that we did when Patrick Wisdom laid that bunt down. Like, I don't agree with it. Well, and maybe if it's because, like you said, if they wanted to make sure Hosmer got didn't ground into a double play or whatever, which David Ross would never say that out loud, right? But that's a potential thought process behind it. That's a different indictment on the guy you have hitting versus
yeah. I mean, it's like
else.
if it was Hosmer's decision, that's even worse.
Yeah.
Like that's just a bad decision. Like, what do you have him up there allowed to make such a decision?
Yeah, it's again assuming that it's David Ross's call to do that in that situation. I can't really defend it. I don't agree with it.
Shane says Rossi called the bunt. He was on the Marquee postgame show.
Was he on?
I'm guessing that's what Shane's referring to. Yeah, Johnny confirming.
If that's what, yeah, for sure. And like I'm saying, like I think we can operate under the assumption, regardless, that was his call. That I don't agree with. There's Cody's full Cody face. No, I don't agree with the bunt call. Just like I didn't agree with the wisdom bunt call, and that's one of those where I just can't. First guessing it, I can't. I don't agree with the call. Not just because it didn't work out. I don't agree with the bunt there.
All right.
I don't think we did.
It's too conservative. And again, like if it's Tucker Barnhart, right, and you maybe you don't want Miguel Amaya in there for whatever reason, okay, it's a different conversation. You can play it conservatively. But like this is a guy who's playing first and DHing for you. Like if you can't ask him to swing away, he shouldn't have a bat in this game and in this situation.
The floor belongs to the man from Eastern Illinois.
Harvard of the Midwest. Listen, man, that ninth inning was horrific. It was just absolutely horrific, bro. Like, you get two back-to-back knocks. This team is, struggling to get guys on base in this one almost. You get two guys on, and the audacity to try to bunt with your DH. Like I've been a David Ross defender, bro. I really have. I've defended him more often than not. Not only because he was on the team that won the World Series, people forget that, but because he has never really been given a full chance to show that he can be, a good manager. I mean, okay, 2020, 60 games, they win division, great, fine. People forget that they won the division that year because no one cared because it was the pandemic year. All right, then 2021, they were good for the month of May and fell apart, and they made the trade. They had the trade deadline, and then they were really, really bad the rest of the year. And then last year, the team didn't have expectations. Vegas had them winning 74, 75 games. So we sat here, and with how bad things were, the first half of the year, we were like,
ate ice cream.
We ate a lot of ice cream.
Ice cream socials.
We sat here and tried to give him the benefit of the doubt because the roster wasn't good. And then they still managed to go 39-31 second half, and we gave David Ross some kudos. We gave him some credit because he took a roster that wasn't that good, and they somehow fucked around and won 73 or 74 games, whatever. Now the roster is better. The roster is significantly better than last year. And we are still finding ways to lose games, bro, in like the dumbest of fashions with an improved roster. We're still finding ways to lose games in the dumbest of ways. I mean, I honestly don't hate the bunt call, but why are you letting Eric Hosmer do it? If anything, let Madrigal do it. He knows how to handle the bat. I don't understand why they left Hosmer in the game in that situation. All that said, I'm more mad because, again, 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position tonight. Coming into the game, 8 for 51. I believe that's what the marquee graphic said. So you're 1-5 on the road trip. You can't hit with runners in scoring position, at least on this road trip. You've been one of the best teams in baseball coming into this road trip at doing so, and you just haven't done it. Is this just a bad road trip? I sure as hell hope so, man, because this team, they've shown that they can win ball games. They've shown that they can, pitch with the best of them. Marcus Stroman, he gave up, what, 1 earned run tonight? The starting pitching has been as good as you could have asked for, bro. It's been as good as you could have asked for. And another wasted start. Because you can't, first inning. Okay, they got 1 run in the first inning. I thought it was a good start, but they could have had more. Bellinger strikes out, less than 2 outs. And Bellinger's been great. I shouldn't sit here and even complain about him. He's been great. 3 strikeouts tonight. Not a great game for him.
It's because Corey picked him for who you got.
That's true.
Perhaps that's Corey's fault for picking him for who you got.
Yeah.
But it's just like it's these little things. And that's why they were so good in April. They were able to do the little things, bro. Got a guy on third base, less than 2 outs. Got a guy on second base, less than 2 outs. If he's the least they would do is move the guy to third. Now you're not doing it, and it's pissing me off. It's pissing me off because good teams find a way to do the little things right. I'm sorry, I'm clapping. I'm just so angry with how the game ended and how we continue to do these things that we weren't doing in April. I know it's May 3rd. I'm not giving up on this team. I'm going to wake up tomorrow and get up for this team again, and I goddamn know that they're going to put Eric Hosmer back in the lineup, and I'm going to find a way to talk myself into thinking they're going to win the game because Patrick freaking Corbin's pitching for the Nationals tomorrow, the worst pitcher in baseball. Sorry, Patrick.
It can get worse, I think is what you're saying.
Anyway, can I finish?
Yes, of course.
All it is at this point, though, is that you have to find a way to score runs when you have the opportunity. And the Cubs just haven't done that on this road trip, and it is infuriating, especially tonight and especially yesterday, because they're playing the Washington Nationals. And I understand that actually the Washington Nationals, the record is not good. They're now 12-17. They did almost sweep the Mets last week. I don't care. The Cubs roster is significantly better than theirs, and they have to win these types of games. They just do. I'm sorry. It's just the fact of the matter. Okay, now I'm done.
I just was going to add, like,
5:15. I had the over.
5:15. I would have taken the over.
5:15 shorter than I thought.
I think, like, part of the thing too is like. It's been a frustrating road trip, obviously, and I think the reason that we hone in so much on the Hosmer situation or when Mancini was struggling in particular or, Madrigal at times, right? Like, the reason we hone in on that is there's only a certain number of areas for this team to make changes, right? Nico, Hap, Cody Bellinger, they've been quite good for the majority of the season. There's going to be nights where they don't come through, where they don't get all the hits, where Cody Bellinger doesn't look like he returned to MVP form, even though his overall numbers are really good. That's where you need the bottom of the lineup and the depth to come through and pick them up. There's only a certain number of positions that this team can make changes and be aggressive and identify, hey, we need to help these guys. And they're not doing that. So that's where the frustration comes in. Like, Hosmer isn't the only one that didn't get hits tonight, but he was awful tonight. And he is one of the only guys in this lineup tonight that doesn't have to be there, right? Everybody else, Seiya's going to be there. Cody's going to be there. Hap's going to be there, right? There's only a certain number of spots where you have guys performing in the minors and you have the ability to get rid of the contract or not make the commitment to the player. So that's why it's going to turn into this guy sucks and we are going to talk about it. Like, because that is where this team can improve. And right now they are just choosing not to.
Well, we talked a lot in the offseason about when they signed Hosmer. If it doesn't work out and Mervis is playing well, when will it happen? When will that move happen? Because they're not paying him anything. So now you've lost 5 out of 6 to the Marlins and Nationals. That sort of ruins winning series against the Padres, Rangers, Mariners, the good teams that you were beating earlier in April. This road trip is now evened that out. So you're right at 15-15. 30 games into the season, you're right at 500, which might be what this team is. But the problem is we're trying to see if this team can get to the postseason. And so when... By the way, Stephen W. agrees with me. Thank you. As does Rhonda.
Start agreeing with me more.
When are you going to, if you're the Cubs, when are you going to break promises? What will push you to break the promise that you made to Hosmer when you told him, we're going to give you at-bats? We're going to sign you. We're going to give you at-bats. We're going to give you a chance. I don't know if they gave him a time frame on that. They did give him at-bats. But is 1 month giving him enough at-bats to feel like you kept your promise to a veteran who might carry some weight around baseball? His word might carry some weight. I don't think he's going anywhere else after this. But when do you break that promise to a veteran player?
2 weeks
So
ago.
okay, so you would
like-
you would have broken it 2 weeks ago.
I don't think Corey
I mean,
would have ever made that promise to begin with.
I wouldn't have made the promise to begin with. The Padres are a competitive team trying to win the World Series, and they're paying him to play for the Cubs.
Yeah.
I think it's the same thing with Hayward. Like, we all know exactly why you make that decision. But, like, it's been a month. It's not working. And they're talking about it in our YouTube chat here live. Like, this is not, like, a new thing. Hosmer is on a long stretch here where he's been a below-league average hitter. He, again, like, he's not doing fundamental things. He's messing up on the bases. He's messing up in the field. That was a horrible bunt. I mean, an atrocious bunt with a third baseman playing in just way too hard of a bunt. I mean, I'm
obviously bad
not sure
bunt.
what the thinking was. It's just one of those things where, look, if you made a promise to the guy and it's like in writing or something like that, like, I don't know what to say about that. My concern, right, like as a fan and like watching this team,
Season ticket holder.
I do not care what they promised a guy they're paying nothing who stinks, right? Like, they gave him an opportunity. I don't care what
That's
Jed
kinda
said
what-
to him.
that's what Joe's
And if-
saying in the
and
chat.
if Eric Hosmer goes and tells who cares, right? God forbid the Cubs are unable to sign over-the-hill free agents that other teams don't want. They have a wonderful reputation, right? David Robertson, all these relievers have said wonderful things about the
Even
Cubs.
the guys that got traded and
Said
or,
Anthony
or
Rizzo's still
non-tendered.
recruiting for the Cubs,
Kyle
right?
Schwarber,
Like,
I remember
telling
Kyle
Jameson
Schwarber
Tyone.
specifically. Michael Givens talked to Kyle Schwarber. at one point
Absolutely.
about him.
So, like, I'm not worried about their reputation. This team needs ceiling. They need guys to hit that high ceiling. Hosmer does not have that potential. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I guarantee you Matt Mervis is going to look like he does in the minors, or that Christopher Morel is going to come up and put up a 1,200 OPS like he has in AAA, right? But it's possible. They have the potential ceiling that this team sitting at 500 desperately needs. I promise you, Eric Hosmer will not do it.
All right.
First,
I want the over-under. I just want to know the
First, I
over-under.
want to let
Okay.
Barbara know we are live.
Oh, Barb, we are definitely live.
live. She
Yes,
asked.
Barb. Sorry, Barb. We are live.
She asked
And
just
I
now.
did see that Ravi agrees with me, by the way, as
Okay.
well. So if I set an over-under, Eric Hosmer removed from this team, and I said June 1st would be the date, you think you're going over-under? If you had to wager your own money, Eric Hosmer
Oof.
on this team June 1st?
For my sanity, man. I mean,
Well,
man.
I'll take the over. I think he's
was
here
saying,
past June 1st.
I think he will be too, but that doesn't mean that I don't think Mervis won't be here.
Well, that's the next over-under.
I think
I
that's
think
the
that
point.
I think his veteran presence in the locker room is fine. That doesn't mean I think he should be playing every day though.
Yeah. Well, the way I look at it is there's like the when is Mervis coming up, what you're gonna say, versus when is Hosmer gone, if that happens. I think those are not particularly connected just because moves can be made where they can both be on the team. Like, regardless if people don't like that. Like, the Cubs can figure out a way where Matt Mervis comes up and Eric Hosmer can still be on the team. And they figure out the playing time from there. I mean, I would say over.
You would say over.
My
I would
gut
say
tells
over.
me over. I don't know when they cut
Another
bait
month.
because, again, I don't think Eric Hosmer should be blocking Matt Mervis. I also don't think I don't want to say he is or isn't because that changes every day. I'm saying him being on the team can still happen while Matt Mervis can also come up. So I don't think they have to cut Eric Hosmer just to bring up Matt
So
Mervis.
I think that's fine, right? Like, they don't use Rios like at all. So I'm not. I don't. You can make that switch, and I think that's fine, right? I think Rios still has options. Like, you could still keep that going if you
Whole
wanted
option
to.
year, I want to say.
This was my concern all along. I texted Brendan a long time ago in spring training, and I was like, because everybody was like, "Oh, you hate Nick Madrigal," blah blah blah, right? I don't, but I texted him and I was like, "It's not going to be Madrigal that drives me nuts. I'm betting you right now, it's going to be Hosmer that they let play too long, and it's going to drive me nuts." I knew it, and I'm fine with that. You want to swap Mervis for Rios? I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't trust David Ross in that situation. I think Jed needs to baby-proof this roster a little bit. I think Ross, I don't trust him not to defer to the veteran more than he should. It's a nice idea that Hosmer would still be on the team, clubhouse presence, and never play, right? I wouldn't tell you that I believe wholeheartedly that's what would happen.
And that's what I brought up earlier before the show, that, like, pretty much exactly what you said, that what he's shown, just because like you demote Eric Hosmer to a Rios role, you bring up Mervis, move him into the role Hosmer has right now, that doesn't mean that Hosmer is going to be getting 25 plate appearances in a month like Rios got. Like, he may be playing more than people want because he's Eric Hosmer, not Edwin Rios. Like that.
Rios doesn't play. Nelson Velasquez never plays.
And that's what I'm saying is like Hosmer.
Why do we believe that?
Okay, so Corey and Cody, what are you more upset about tonight? Hosmer bunting or the decision David Ross apparently has made? Are you more upset at David Ross or are you more upset at Hosmer?
David Ross. Because I don't hate
I can't decide where your anger is totally directed, or is it just evenly at both?
It's Ross and Hoyer, right? He shouldn't be on the team, and he shouldn't be playing, and he shouldn't be doing that in certain situations. That has nothing to do with Eric Hosmer. He's doing what he's asked to do.
He's like, I'm not going to bag on a player for just trying to do what they want him to do. I'm not going to bag on him for that. My thing is, like, I agree with Corey. Like, David Ross he's given a lot of leash to a lot of these veterans. We talked about it with Jason Hayward last year. We talked about it with Jonathan VR. It is a developed trend that I think even in the years where the games didn't necessarily matter because we knew the team wasn't going to be good, that we saw. And it's just like, play some kids, man. Like, last year I was clamoring for some Nelson Velasquez with this shitty team. And then they finally call him up, and what do? They don't even play the guy. And it's just, why? Because they're playing freaking Jason Hayward in center or something. Like, it's little things like that that have been annoying to me. And this year I thought that was going to end because you have a talented roster. They didn't go 14-13 in the month of April with the schedule that they have because of some dumb luck.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is why I said a few weeks ago, in related to, the Hosmer Mervis stuff, was that when the top of this lineup finally at least comes down to earth a little bit and the bottom of the lineup ain't doing anything, then we're all going to be talking about Mervis time. And here we are talking about Mervis time. And again, I'm not asking for Mervis to come and be a savior. I'm not asking, like we talked about this last night. I'm not asking, but I think we can all at least say that we'd rather see Mervis get those at bats because we got to see if he actually is good or not.
You'd rather see Mervis fail in that situation than Eric.
I would rather see Mervis fail in that situation.
The guy's 25.
I think we're, and this is like, me and Luke are the rational ones. You guys are the crazy ones, which is fine.
Rational.
No, I think they're rational.
You can be a little more
rational.
You can be a little more crazy.
Or me irrational.
But okay, so bad joke. Whatever. So me and Luke, when 2.5, whatever it was, and people were already still like clamoring for Matt Mervis, and me and Luke were kind of the idea that right now it's working. Like, they're winning games, they're beating the Dodgers on the road. Like,
it's not working anymore.
Don't fix what's not broken, don't rock the boat, all that stuff. And at the time, I think you guys could agree, like, even though you guys wanted Mervis up, like, as long as they were winning, as long as, even if Hosmer was struggling, as long as the guys at the top of the order were hitting well and making up for it, then things, whatever, they won, right? Wins at the end of the day ultimately matters. So if they were still winning, then you could deal with Eric Hosmer not hitting well, or whoever it is, not even just Hosmer, like whoever's not hitting well because the rest of the lineup is, right? Now you're at the point where, Nico's cooled off a little bit. Bellinger didn't cool off. He had a bad game at the plate. I saw someone say in the chat that Bellinger was slumping, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. But like Mancini's picked it up, but like Dansby's cooled off a little bit. Hap, I think, is still kind of his consistent self.
Hap had a good night.
Seiya is still getting into that in-season mode because he didn't have a spring training. Like, the lineup as a whole is not performing like they did a couple weeks ago. And that's very clear on this road trip that's not happening. Luke, do you have the average number of runs that were scored? Do you remember what it was?
3.
So 3.
Yeah, they've scored 18 runs.
On this road trip, and that's with one more game to go. So right now the offense is not performing anymore what they did 2 weeks ago, and maybe even a little bit further back than that. Now is when you start to think, like, okay, things aren't working. To take, Theo Epstein's quote, the offense is broken right now. They're not scoring the runs when they need to. They're not getting the big hits when they need to. Is it time to start injecting some youth in there, some different looks, some different players at the plate? If the offense isn't gonna work how you construct it now, and do you believe that it's gonna fix itself? I don't know, because there's some players that you don't necessarily trust out there. So is it time to start bringing up those guys that might actually help the offense a little bit?
You know, like the top of the order has been on the whole quite good for the majority of the year, and I think we knew it's not a juggernaut of a group, right? They're gonna need right now they're gonna need to be lifted by the bottom of the lineup, the depth at times, right? It's not 1 through 5, 1 through 6, however you want to categorize it. Like, it's not the absolute best group in the league just smashing homers and a bunch of MVP candidates. It's good. They have been good, that top of the order, but they're not good enough that they can just have a black hole on the bench and in the back of the lineup. And there's a couple comments that I see in the YouTube chat that I think are very true. One, they look like they need a spark, right? They look like they need a spark, and I think you have two very willing and ready candidates that could possibly, right, no guarantees, but possibly provide that. The other was, I think from Matthew in the chat, like, you need at some point to start learning about these guys, right? Like, I've seen this argument floated that Jed or the organization, they don't want to push all in right now, and that's why they're being slow and letting Hosmer take his time. First of all, there's a lot of reasons why I don't think that holds water. You sign some guys to short-term contracts. You don't have everybody for 8 years, so I don't really think they're I don't think that argument holds water in the first place. But even if you were looking toward the future, right? If you push all your chips in the offseason, and when are you going to learn if Matt Mervis is able to play at the MLB level? When are you going to learn if the changes that Christopher Morel has made to his swing and the results he's putting up in Iowa, when are you going to learn if that translates to Major League Baseball? I think even putting that argument aside, those guys coming up and getting experience now is absolutely crucial, potentially to 2023, but also to 2024 and beyond. If you go and sign, if you make a crazy trade for Shohei Ohtani, right?
Now you're talking.
And you're going to DH him, right? But you make a bunch of moves, and we're at the point where we were pre-2016, where we're looking at this team as they better win the World Series because that's the type of roster they've put out. You're going to start a Matt Mervis at first base who's never played at the MLB level because you're letting Eric Hosmer play every night? No. You need to see what he can do.
Yeah. He's the easier call-up. Ryan was saying it yesterday, right? While everybody likes Christopher Morel, and I think he's still going to have a really good Major League career, he's a tougher fit into the current roster for the Cubs.
Yeah.
Right? Because Bellinger's in center, Wisdom's hitting for power at third. He's struggled to come up with the big hit the last 2 nights just as much as Hosmer has, but he does have 11 home runs. Yeah. So, and he's played for the most part
pretty good. He's been their second best hitter all season.
He's been for the most part really good at third base. So, he's not going to get his games played. He's going to be playing as much as Rios is. Not very much, I think, if he gets called up. Mervis, you can see playing time for. You could see where they could put Mervis into a lineup. And like the chat has said many times, tonight alone, he is 25. So it's not like you're rushing up a 19-year-old to see if he can play. The guy's 25. It's time to find out if he can play at the Major League level.
And with as far as the roster maneuvering goes, I think we talked about yesterday, because I think at that point Ross had said that Tyone would not start Thursday, and we were like, okay, you may need that 40-man spot for a AAA starter, and that's where that 40th spot goes. Now, reports out of Washington are that Tyone will, in fact, start on tomorrow, on Thursday, which means a 40-man spot's open. That makes it easier for the people clamoring for Matt Mervis. That is a way to get him on this roster tomorrow. I'm not expecting him to be on the roster tomorrow.
So what's the over/under then? If I say May 20th, Matt Mervis, we all kind of agreed that June 1st we might take the over on Hosmer. On Mervis being on the Cubs
better be here by
Friday. I would probably say on the under.
Under, you take the under.
Give me the under.
May 20th, you're going under. That's not too far off.
It better be, man. I just don't understand what we're doing here. It's not apples to apples, right? But you look at the situation with James Outman and the Dodgers, right? Dodgers, obviously aren't as loaded this year as they have been in past years. They've got guys struggling like Chris Taylor. They've got guys hurt. They've got half their pitching staff is hurt. But they gave a kid a shot because he was performing and he earned it, and he's killing it for them.
He
Or
killed the
he
Cubs a
has
bunch.
been
Yeah.
for the majority of this season, and he'll have ebbs and flows. He'll struggle at some point, but like they gave it a shot because they needed a spark, and boy, did it lift them. Now they look like their old selves the
Just
last
had a
few
walk
series.
Muncy
Like,
hit a walk-off grand
you
slam
know,
today.
like again, it's not the same
Sweep the
comparison,
Phillies.
but like sometimes you have to be willing to give a younger guy a shot and see if possibly, right, you get that highest percentile outcome. Wow, Matt Mervis really is just continuing to hit from his time in Iowa. This is great. The Cubs have a power-hitting left-handed first baseman again.
Yeah.
Like, and nobody's promising you it's going to work out that way, but like, I keep saying it. Like, I promise you Hosmer's not going to do it.
Yeah.
Shane says Mervis Friday. Book it.
Michael Collada said in the chat that I should manage the team. I just want that on record that we all saw that.
There was a comment from a noted listener, Doug Van Dorn. He said that we were complaining more about Hosmer than Wisdom. Well, the thing is,
Wisdom has been their second best hitter.
Well, he said not Wisdom because
In this game,
because of this game, because he hit in the double play. The thing is, Doug, is that if Hosmer at least puts a good bunt down, then they're not in the double play situation. They would have runners on second and third if he gets the bunt down better, or I don't know, they pinch hit for him. Like that's the reason. And again, your DH first baseman or DH/first baseman shouldn't be bunting in the ninth inning with two guys on. You want to feel good about your DH/first baseman at the plate being able to drive those runs in potentially. And the fact that they had the bunt on because Hosmer is Eric Hosmer at this point in his career. Again, great career for him. I've never been able to hit a baseball like he has at the beginning of his career. He's had a good career. I'm not going to dog on the guy. To me, it's more about the managerial decision tonight than anything. All right. Sure, yeah, Wisdom hitting the double play to end it just kind of piled on my own anger, but they wouldn't have been in the situation if it just would have been a better bunt. That's the thing.
Well, like,
that's why I'm upset.
I mean,
that's
so
why
here's
I'm
real
irrationally
quick,
angry.
Just this is what Megan Montemurro put out. I didn't do the research, but she did. Someone asked her on Twitter when was the last time Hosmer had a sack bunt. She said 2021. He's recorded 3 sack bunts in almost 7,000 MLB plate appearances.
That's
once
bad
in
process,
21,
man.
once in 15, and once in 13.
Yeah, that's just bad process. It's just not even something he does. I didn't even know that, right?
Yeah.
Like we can all see clearly he doesn't bunt that much, right? But like that's
definitely
just
should have caught him off
the
guard.
whole thing. The decision to have him do it. It's just bad process.
It's just like when they had Wisdom try to bunt that
Yeah, it
one
was bad.
game.
That was bad too.
the two things. The first is one, like maybe we're talking about tonight, but Patrick Wisdom is a 149 WRC plus. He's literally been, I think, the second most valuable hitter on the team outside of Cody Bellinger. So that
Ian
slander,
Happ and
I
Nico
genuinely
I don't
don't.
get the slander.
I don't understand that. He's
also
literally
costing
been
you what, like $670,000.
he's been
nothing.
incredible. He's on pace for like a 4-WAR season. He's been great.
Yeah, I can't
But
complain about him this
I
season.
will also say, like, I saw in the chat too, like where some folks are freaking out more than us, equal to us. It's all over the place, and some are like, it's a long season, 162 games. You don't want to bank these losses, right? This is a bad Washington team, and we knew that this team was going to have to be aggressive. This division isn't great, right? The Cardinals are not the pace setter in the division that I think a lot of us thought they were going to be.
Don't jinx it.
I think the Brewers and the Pirates are both catchable, obviously, right? Like, and you can't get these games back, right? And right now, again, like they're losing a lot of games in Miami and so far in Washington in what feel like, again, you can never guarantee anything, but they feel like very winnable games. You're losing games for reasons that they have the ability to potentially address, and they're just not doing it.
Brent in the chat agrees with me. I appreciate that. It is a dark, dark day for the Cubs. Couldn't score more than 1 run. Cody, one way to brighten our mood would be the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program.
Well, to brighten my mood, also the Pirates lost tonight, and the Brewers are down 4-0.
See, I told you already. It's getting brighter.
But also, yeah, the ComEd Efficiency Program. I mean, these lights are so bright; it's brightening up my mood. Also, it helps that I get that rant out. Anyway. ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is committed to helping families and businesses in the communities they serve, helping manage energy usage and lower energy bills now and into the future.
Yeah, ComEd offers a wide variety of incentives on lighting and other efficiency upgrades to commercial, industrial, public sector customers of all sizes across their territory. ComEd also offers free facility assessments that can help find energy-saving opportunities, like for HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, or industrial processes.
Really? How's it work?
Let me tell you, Cody, an authorized engineer will work with you to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and needs. They can be done in person or virtually. They last about 2 hours. Then within 3 to 4 weeks, those same customers receive a report detailing energy efficiency projects they can start working on right away. Each recommendation will include estimated energy savings, cost savings, project costs, potential incentives, and simple payback. If you own a business, don't wait. Get started saving money and energy today. For energy-saving tips, lighting incentives, or to schedule your free facility assessment, go to ComEd.com/poweringbiz.
ComEd.com/poweringbiz, Luke.
That's it, Cody Del Mendo. You've got it. What else you have is Shady Rays. I had mine on today, driving into traffic. Sun was bright, glaring off other
brutal.
cars.
Had mine on the scooter coming into the West Loop.
Took my son to the park today. Shady Rays were on. Everybody was walking by like, did you see that guy's shades? I was like, yeah, Shady Rays, baby. Take on the sun with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered for the warm weather ahead with premium polarized shades at an affordable price. Shady Rays, an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair we've ever worn. Durable frames and extremely clear optics for outdoor adventures. And that's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses backed by lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break a pair, even on day one, they told us they'll send you a brand new pair. No questions asked. Wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after you purchase. Together with their customers, Shady Rays is also providing much-needed support to nonprofit partners across the country through Shady Rays Impact. From building play sets for pediatric cancer patients to providing young adults with MS the outdoor adventure of a lifetime, Shady Rays is making an impact on your community and others like it now and for years to come. If you don't like your Shady Rays, exchange for a new pair or return them free within 30 days. No risk when you shop. Their team has your back always. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays giving out their best deal of the season. Go to ShadyRays.com. Use the code CHGO for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try yourself those shades that have been rated 5 stars by more than 250,000 people.
Can I say something?
I was going to say something real quick. Is this still
Can
about
I
what we
say
were
something?
talking about?
No, I was just going to ask Joey how many people are watching.
Oh, a lot.
150.
133. We got 44 likes. Please hit the like button.
Please.
I'd also like to say that if you're watching and you didn't like my yelling, I'm sorry. I just had to get it out. If you're new here and you never experienced that, again,
This
sometimes I get like this.
You got to get the bat out. You got to get the bat out.
It's a game like
mean,
this.
the
Demons
moment
out, Cody.
the moment Wisdom hitting the double play, I got up off the couch and yelled fuck
F-words.
like
F
7
words.
times.
Yes.
Lots of F words.
The entire West Loop heard me. I'm sorry, and I know
Even
people
Naked
don't
Man.
like it sometimes, and I've been told this by many, and I get it. I am who I am, man. I am cubbing how I want to cub. I don't tell you how to fan. I don't tell all the people who I disagree with in the chat how to fan. Not all of you, but like the people that disagree with what I say or whatever. I don't tell you that you're right or wrong. I let y'all vent the way you want to vent. So I'm just letting y'all know this is authentic me. I've always been me. This is how I do things. So I just want to put that out there because
like Matt Nagy,
I haven't had one of these in a while.
Does it make you feel better to know that the Cardinals had a 1-run lead going into the top of the 9th, and now they're down 6-3, 6-4?
Ooh.
Hey, we made it to
A
May
little
3rd.
better. Just a little better.
That does make my arm hair stand up a little bit, actually.
We also made it to May 3rd without a serious in-season rant.
That's
Yeah.
There you go, Ravi.
Hell yeah, Ravi. Loose.
I mentioned the Tyone thing earlier. I forgot about the roster move that happened earlier today. Jan Gomes said a 7-day concussion IL. Javier Assad brought back up to take a spot on the active roster. So the pitching staff is at 13, which we know is the limit for pitchers, which means they have to make another move tomorrow to get Tyone back to start tomorrow's game. So when I said it's as easy as, you can just bring Matt Mervis up tomorrow, may not be that easy, but there is an open 40-man spot still. But for Tyone, there will have to be a pitcher move made to allow him to start tomorrow's game.
Will Amaya play tomorrow?
Oh, that's a good question.
I doubt
Talking
he's
about
gonna
the young guys getting a shot, getting to play.
I doubt he's going to start again with Tyone, with Tyone's first start being back. But I mean, I'm up for it.
He's got a good reputation behind the plate.
Yeah,
so
I mean, I'm up for it. He's had a couple days to be able to, talk to guys and stuff. I mean, with Gomes being out for, is it 7 days from the moment from the game that happened?
It's retroactive to May 2nd.
Okay, so to yesterday. So I mean, why not? I mean,
I don't know.
I like it better tomorrow than I do on Friday against the Marlins. I mean, I say that and we're down 2-1 in the series, but and you need to win tomorrow. Like, you absolutely need to win tomorrow. But
it's likely that he'll make his debut, considering that Yan Gomes is down for, what did we say, May 2nd? So at least the next 6 games, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's likely that he'll make his debut. I don't know that he'll be behind the plate. Maybe in a game that's out of hand either way, winning by a lot, losing by a lot. Maybe he gets behind the plate. I don't know that we see him start the game behind the plate tomorrow. Maybe he DHs like that.
Well, the thing is like, if they were to do that, then they wouldn't have a backup catcher if Barnhart got hurt.
For sure. I guess that's when you would hope that you didn't need him. But that's the decision, right? Like, I don't know that he's gonna be starting behind the plate tomorrow with Jameson Taillon coming back. So if he's gonna play, it's either he's in for Barnhart later on in the game, or he DHs. Those are the only 2 options in my opinion. I guess we'll see what the lineup is tomorrow, but that's what it looks like.
I do think we'll definitely see him this weekend, but tomorrow, who knows? But who knows? The kid's here unexpectedly early. Hopefully, he can give the Cubs a little bit of a spark on top of, if they can get a win tomorrow and like bring a little bit of momentum back to beautiful historic Wrigley Field. That'd be great. I mean, that's all I'm asking for now. I'm so annoyed and angry about this game, but the Cubs still have a chance to split tomorrow. I think I'm more angry just because they're playing the Nationals, and like, these are the series you got to win if you want to go to the playoffs. And I said on this podcast that 88 wins this year, and that was optimistic. I said more realistic, probably be more like 84, 85, but I was trying to be a little bit more optimistic. And as we've seen over the first month and 3 days, they've shown that they can have a really good offense at times, and the pitching is the one thing that hasn't changed. The pitching's been great. Stroh, 1 earned run tonight. Hayden Wisniewski went 6 innings last night. It's a little shaky. There's a lot of things to work on, but he still went 6 innings last night. The only starting pitcher that at least has been a little bit of a question was Killian on Saturday, which that's not an everyday thing right now because, he's a rookie and he's, coming, he was in because of Taillon. Is Taillon because of the injury and, outside of his start against the Dodgers, he hasn't been very good. So you get him right on top of the rest of the starters. You have a really good pitching staff that can go to the playoffs if you just put the best lineup out there every single day. I think more often than not, you'll probably have better results if you call up some of those guys that we've been talking about, as Corey keeps saying, as I've said, and even you guys have basically said that it's time for those guys now too. And I respect that you guys weren't fully on it right away, but going back to what I was saying, the top of the lineup is killing it right now, blah blah blah. Well, I don't want to get mad at Nico Horner because he went 0-4 again tonight. The dude's been insane, but whenever the offense is playing so top heavy, it's like, man, we really need you tonight. You didn't do it. Well, also the bottom of the line didn't do shit either. So,
It's also just putting such a strain on, when they are getting these good pitching performances, it puts such a strain on pretty much everybody involved, right? Like, all these pitchers have to be perfect.
Stroman's gotten 13 runs of support this season, and I think that was his 7th start.
Right.
13 runs total.
And then, you have, Alzolay had a string of really good outings, and, of course, tonight wasn't it, but these are the types of games we kind of figured this team would be playing in a lot, and they're not the type of games you want to be playing because they come down to, that ball off Alzolay being fair by, however many feet, and he's not able to execute. He gives up 1 run, and boom, there you go. That's the game. It puts such an undue stress on a lot of these guys. We look at the game last night, right? Keegan's been so good. He's had a bad stretch of a couple outings just with his feel and command, and we're sitting in there talking about a loss because it's all coming down to one pitch or, one play in the field or one at bat and stuff like that. And it's It's a position we knew this team would be in a lot. Like we knew they were going to play a lot of close games, and this is what unfortunately can happen in close games. Like things go either way. It's just how baseball is. You want to avoid that as much as you can, and they're not doing that right now.
And in April, they did win a handful of one-run games and in close games that we didn't expect them to win. A lot of it had to do with their starting pitching, and they had some big moments from the bullpen too. And just like what I said with Nico, ALLCITY's been great his last handful of outings, and tonight didn't have it, gives up the run to give him the lead. But I don't want to be mad at him either because he's been so great. Score runs. Don't go 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position, bro. Yeah. That's the thing.
When they needed a better effort against
good teams are able to give you a mix of everything, right? We always ask for 2 of the 3 facets of the game. Well, defense is great. Starting pitching is great. Offense just ain't getting it done right now. And we just sat here for the last, 45 minutes talking about Eric Hosmer not getting it done. And, I mean, of course, we've been putting a lot on Eric Hosmer. The entire lineup, honestly, hasn't been doing a lot of much anything.
Recently, it was for a while because if you zoom out and you look at it and you say, all right, 30 games into the season, if I told you they were 15-15, would you have taken it? I would have, because I would have said they just don't want to get off to a bad start. They don't want to get off to a White Sox start.
No.
Yeah.
That's what this team couldn't afford to do. Now, would you prefer that they were like 4 or 5 over that? Yeah, they were on that pace, but now they hit this dud of a road trip. You're lucky to still be 15-15.
Yeah. I mean,
but that's okay. 15-15 right now is okay.
When you put it into those terms, it makes me feel a little bit better because, that schedule in April was tough. But now the fact that you're 15-15 because you've lost 2 straight to a bad team is like, what are we doing? And, it makes it even more tough that all the losses outside of yesterday have been 1-run losses. They lost 3 straight 1-run games against the Marlins. Then you come to Washington. You win a nice 5-1 game. We're feeling good. Did a beer bat on Monday. Vibes are back. And I'm feeling, all right, we're getting back on track here. Let's keep it rolling. And then, Thompson gives up the runs last night, but also the offense, 1 for 9 or whatever. Leave 11 on base. And tonight, it's more of the same. And it's just another wasted start for Stroman, who has been great. He went through some issues, and he still managed to only give up 1 run. Like, he's been everything you could have asked for to start the year for him whenever coming in the year. I mean, I won't lie. I was hoping for really good, but he's been way better than I've expected, and the Cubs just really haven't been able to fully capitalize off it more often than not. I know opening day is like opening day and the start against the A's are like the 2 starts I can think of that he started and they won. You know what I mean? So I understand that it's May 3rd and there's still a lot of baseball to be played, and these guys are going to get called up eventually. I just don't want to feel like when we get to the end of September and the Cubs miss the playoffs by a game or 2, and it's like, man, they could have won a few of those games at the end of April, beginning of May. That's how I choose to look at it sometimes, especially whenever you have a team like this that didn't have expectations to make the playoffs, but start off really good, and you're like, wow, maybe this team can be something. You know what I mean?
I think, and I think there's a lot of, doom in the chat, at least. Look, these slumps happen, right? It is a long season. We harp on these issues
16
because
Cubs had a pretty long slump.
Yeah, they're important, and these games are important, and but it is a long season. They have a long runway to turn this around. A playoff spot is attainable for this group. But to Cody's point, we all watched 2018 and 2019, right?
Yeah.
Both of those seasons, it was very easy to go back to the beginning of the year and say, well, boy, I wish they didn't piss this game away, or boy, I wish they didn't give this reliever this much runway who never deserved it in the first place. Sure, it's nitpicking, and some of it is easy to say after the fact, but some of it is stuff that a lot of people have been saying for quite some time here and was very easy to see coming. All in all, though, tonight, too, again, the top of the lineup has been very good generally. You need the back to lift them up at times, but also this is a bummer of a wasted start from Stroman. You're going up against a young pitcher who had bad numbers in the minors. I think he was making his debut, right? tonight.
So.
Like that was a bad effort from the entire offense. Like obviously not just Eric Hosmer, but as I said, like Cody Bellinger's been phenomenal all season. I don't care if he has a bad game one night, against the Nationals. He's been lifting your offense the entire season. It's these other guys like that aren't carrying their weight.
They've scored 2 runs against Trevor Williams and a rookie that I've never heard of.
Yeah.
And it's like what I said yesterday on the postgame show. Like, I hate the argument to go back and be like, well, Matt Mervis wouldn't have bunted into that out kind of thing. Like, I hate that because I think it's such a reactionary argument. But, and you and Brennan talk about this all the time, like, the more you have the, was it optimal lineup is what you like to kind of say?
Sure.
The optimal lineup, however you want to describe it. The more you have that out there, the more the probability that your win total is higher goes up.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So the more, even though I don't like looking at, like, picking out one specific thing and saying Matt Mervis would have done this if he was in there, or Morel would have this other thing, he would have gotten it done, that whoever, right? I hate that. But when the more times that you have
the full picture,
it's the full picture.
Yeah.
The more you have those guys like that up, not even just them two specifically, but just like your better players that are ready for the big leagues. The more you have them up, the more over a long season you probably lead to even a couple more wins.
Dr.
Like
Herrera.
I don't look back and say they lost this. They lost yesterday's game specifically because Matt Mervis wasn't here, or today's game because Matt Mervis wasn't there. It's when you look at the big picture and then how many, how much do those potential wins add up? The more you don't, the more you have them up there,
I think there was someone in the chat said they're 2-6 in one-run games, right? To your point, like, can we sit here and say, like, oh, Matt Mervis would have won them this game, or Morel would have won them this exact game tonight? No, right? It's baseball. You can never predict those things. Can we sit here and say that if the Cubs gave David Ross, and he was playing, their best 26-man roster that they could possibly put out, which they have not all season, right? And certainly are not now. Is their record in those one-run games better than 2-6?
Probably.
I would say probably at least by a game, right? They get a big hit here, and it doesn't always have to be in the clutch, right? Insurance runs piling on, just better performance throughout those 8 games. Even just those 8 games, maybe they win 1 or 2 of them, which right now would feel really good if you were looking at their overall record.
It's interesting because last year, there's no way the Cubs were playing their best 26, right? Like, when you're in a total rebuild, you're getting rid of guys. You're trading so many guys away that you can't honestly say we're keeping our best 26 players for the entire season. I wonder how many major league teams would say we absolutely have the 26 best players in our system
that are
healthy at the major league level right now. I don't know what the answer to that is.
Ones that are contending for World Series, I think. Like that's or playoffs.
I would say they at least have 25 out of 26. Maybe they have somebody in there that they can't move, or a lot of teams have one player like that. But I think you're right. Mike Dubb says when you have your DH bunting, it says something about your lineup, and it does. So
shout out Mike.
We'll see how that moves forward. Speaking of moving forward, Cody, do you have a DraftKings play of the week for us? Something you want to throw a little sugar down on?
Honestly, I mean, this isn't going to be good for the Spotify, Apple Podcast crowd, but you can still place a wager on the Mariners to beat the A's tonight. I've been fading the Athletics for the last week and a half and have made lots of money on it. I've been taking them on the run line, taking whoever's playing the Athletics on the run line. It's been very profitable last week.
Winners?
Yeah. So you can get the Mariners at -115 at -1.5 against the A's, which we've talked about, not good.
It's a pick-me-up after a Cubs loss. It's a pick-me-up, little cash in your pocket.
Yes. I just placed the wager while we were sitting here talking
because
I almost forgot it. On DraftKings.
Corey was talking and you weren't even listening to him. You were just hitting that app and making yourself money.
Yeah, I had to because the hit parlay, which I put out tonight, where I said, if this doesn't hit, I'm going to be very, very hurt. Because I felt good about the Cubs going up against a rookie pitcher with a 5 ERA in the minors. If this doesn't hit, I'm going to be very, very hurt. And it happened because Horner, Bellinger, and Swanson, none of them got hits.
Oh, boy, who you got? We'll get to that in a second, by the way. But first, I do want to tell you about, get fitted out with the best sports gear around. Hoodies, shoes, signs, bobbleheads, everything in between. It is FOCO, baby. Spring baseball season here. Aloha shirts for Ryan, Hawaiian,
I need them.
Herrera,
Oh, yeah.
straw hats, polos, bags, everything you need for a game. Check out our new set decorations they sent us. Look at this sweet Clark the Cub bobblehead. Maybe your kid wants that. Or Hayden Wesneski. Maybe your kid's Wes Nasty fan.
He did just trademark that, so was nasty.
Was Nasty.
He did trademark it.
Or filed for it, I think.
They were donated by the people at FOCO, and we love them for that. Check out FOCO.com. Click the link in the description below. For all non-presale items, use the promo code CHGO for 10% off. You got the homestand coming up. This is where you go and get swagged out when you go to the game.
Yeah.
Cardinals going to be in town. Wear your best gear.
Yeah, and when you
Ditch the old Contreras jersey and
Just
get
gonna
yourself
say that.
something new.
Well, you're going to get it from FOCO. You're going to put it on. You're going to wear it, and then you're probably going to go to the Cubs game, right?
Right.
So if you want to go to the Cubs game, you're going to need to use GameTime to get those tickets, unless Corey gives you his tickets one day, like for Cody. But if that doesn't happen,
Big of me.
big of Corey to do that.
It
But
was
if that
very
doesn't
big of him.
happen,
He could make me pay him for him. He just sent them to me.
if that doesn't happen, and you want to go to the Cubs game, you're going to go to GameTime and do it. Buying tickets to your favorite events shouldn't be stressful. GameTime is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events near you. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you'll have. I've been talking about it forever. I think the Blink-182 concert's coming up, and no one's giving me free tickets. So if I do really want to go to that, I'm going to go to the GameTime app. I'm going to download it. I'm going to sign up, and I'm going to buy some Blink-182 tickets. GameTime is great. It has flash deals and last-minute tickets. It's easy to find and buy the tickets for every event in your area. They actually have the images of the seats. So if you're going to that Cubs game and you don't want to be behind a pole, you can click on it and it'll show you that, hey, you're not going to be behind a pole if you buy this ticket. It gives you the lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection, all that good stuff. So GameTime is the place for last-minute ticket deals. Forget planning it months in advance. GameTime has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. The GameTime guarantee means you'll always get the best price if you find tickets in the same section and row for less. GameTime will credit you 110% of the difference. It's the fastest growing ticketing app in the country for a reason. Snag the tickets without the stress with GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHGO for $20 off. Download GameTime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Just hang out to Murphy's or Sluggers or Do Right Donuts. Hang out, wait for the ticket drop, and boom.
Yeah, like 5 minutes before first pitch.
Walk in like a rock star. Excuse me, those are my seats. Yeah. Excuse me.
Or if you sit in the bleachers, you sit wherever you want.
Yeah, but then you're like way in the back. You get screwed.
I guess, yeah, if you
just don't take.
Like if you do that
Jeff.
Specific situation,
save a spot for Bleacher Jeff.
Yeah. So, depending on the weather, sometimes it doesn't matter. But obviously, we want to go on a warm, sunny day. Yeah. So.
Now you have a shot.
We have a super chat from Fernando.
Oh, we have a super chat? Was that Fernando saying Cards lost? That's all I got?
Yes.
Thank you,
they're
Fernando.
getting booed off the field.
It's a beautiful thing.
Okay. Who?
Honestly, I promise you, I'm going to say this straight into the camera. I promise you, when I get home, I'm going to hate watch those highlights like I've never hate watched highlights in my life. I promise you. I can't wait.
It's going to be the highlight of his night right there.
Yeah.
Well, the mac and cheese was pretty good, too.
Oh, yeah, that mac and cheese will.
But you know what the highlight of my night's going to be?
What's that?
What you're going to say right now.
It's time for Who You Got.
Yep.
Before we get to the Who You Got results, we have a possible constitutional amendment to the rules of Who You Got. Up for debate. Should we adjust the Constitution of Who You Got rules? It's been raised by the honorable man, Corey Friedman, that we should no longer use pitchers because it's too difficult to judge a pitcher versus a hitter. He doesn't like it. Is that sum up your...
Are you putting that on the table right now?
Is that how you would like to do it?
I think it's tough to compare the two, So I think comparing how a hitter performs, especially when the pitcher is like good but not necessarily great.
7 innings, 1 run versus shutout 2 for 4.
With a home run and like 2 RBIs. Like, how do we decide what's better than that? And like, I think it's okay if we want to like let the chat vote and stuff like that. But there, there's not always
I'm gonna vote. I'm gonna say
whatever.
after tonight we don't take pictures anymore.
I'm okay with that if you guys want to do no pitchers.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Let's do that. We'll do hitters only.
All right, just so the chat knows, no more pitchers. Vanilla Chill says, I agree with Corey. Sorry, Luke.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, Vanilla Chill, you're dead to me.
This was my favorite part of the show.
No. All right. From this day forward, the Constitution has been amended. We no longer are taking pitchers in who you got. It's strictly a hitting and fielding and base running contest.
All right, I got Tyone tomorrow. Oh, wait, you said no pitch.
Now, wait a minute. Just so we're clear on this, what happens if my guy is 3 for 3 and there's a blowout game, but he comes in and he pitches an inning? If he comes in and he Rizzo's an inning, do you get credit for the inning of shutout?
I think we cross that bridge when we get to it.
Oh, well, that's going to be, I'm just telling you, it's going to be debatable. Somebody was 1 for 4, and my guy was 0 for 4, but he struck out 3 great players from the other team.
You still went 0 for 4.
Yeah, I don't think it counts.
Yeah, we're hitting only.
Hitting only.
Hitting
So
only.
if a guy pitches, we ignore it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless it's a vibes tiebreaker.
We have fun with it, but
Unless it's a
Yeah.
vibes
I like that.
tiebreaker.
I think that's fine.
vibes.
It would have to be
Rizzo
It would
v.
have to be
Freeman
an
would have been
equal
the
stat
tie.
line.
Also, or
Yeah,
if he
be the
has
vibes.
like a John Baker game. If you know, you know.
What if he came in and he'd like Kenny Powers? He's like, you're out.
What if he comes
Yeah,
in like
vibes
Fran Mil
tiebreaker. I think
Reyes
that's
last
Yeah,
year?
vibes
Yeah.
tiebreaker.
And
Reyes,
obviously, as the leader of vibes, we defer to Stuckey on that. He knows it better than anyone.
All right. I mean, yeah, that's true. All right. Pregame records. I was
agree with
9
that
and
for
17. Ryan 8 and 18. Corey 7 and 20. Cody 5 and 23. Sarah 1 and 0. Kevin 0 and 1. And Joey, do you have a record? I don't have that down. No. All right. Well, we'll leave Joey at 0 and 0. But today you were in for, I believe, Hosmer, which would leave you clearly 0 and 1 after today.
He could have had one win if he had picked or stuck with Jan Gomes like I automatically gave to him.
Joey, by the way, we are still live. So tonight I had Dansby Swanson, so that's a loss. Ryan had Marcus Stroman. Corey had Bellinger. Cody had Nico. This was pretty easy.
Yeah.
Stroman.
Very
So the
Because
final pitch,
tonight is the last
That's
night.
the W. I think that's
the man who was
fitting.
suspended
right.
from taking a pitcher was the last man to take a pitcher, and who you got?
and he won with
And he won.
said
So
pitcher.
I dropped to 9 and 18. Ryan improves to 9 and 18.
Tied for first, we're back. We're making a run.
Corey 7 and 21. Cody 5 and 24.
I'm just here to have fun.
Joey now 0 and 1. Oh, he'll take the extra loss. All right, man of integrity right there.
The
That's
Gomes
right.
game too. That's so 0 for 3.
He could have
you.
taken that.
I'm in a real slump. I apologize to Cody Bellinger tonight. That one's on me.
Doug asks, what if he comes off the bench in a brawl and knocks out the opposing team's
See,
manager?
now that's vibes. It's all
That's
part
a
of vibes.
very
It's all
that's a
part of
very
vibes.
specific vision. Like not even the pitcher, the manager. I kind of dig it.
I will say on record, if that happens, I will gladly give that guy who you got.
That's right.
If it's
An
Craig,
outfielder tackles some
If
fan
it's
that runs
Craig
onto the
Counsell-
field and pile drives him.
if
that's
somebody
a
on this
point.
team takes
Yeah,
out Craig
that's a
Counsell, they
point.
win who you got for the rest of the year.
Then we cancel who you got.
It's over. They
Yeah.
win. It's over. They win the title.
Yeah.
Colada says he's 30 and 0.
Oh, the Godfather has never done anything wrong.
He's
I
not
agree.
live. All right, so we got one more game. Hopefully,
If we do not hit,
Tyone.
if we do not hit off Patrick Corbin tomorrow, I'm gonna try not to come on here and yell again. Or we don't have a show tomorrow.
we don't have a
Same
show
thing.
tomorrow,
Yeah,
so I just
It's gonna
by
be
the way,
really hard
no
for me
live
to
show
not make a
tomorrow.
video and yell in it tomorrow. Whenever I do the the Cubs therapy session, if they
have
lose to
got
Patrick
hit.
Corbin
They have
tomorrow.
to. They have to.
No live show. Pre-post Friday. Next week, there's a rumor that the pitch doctor will be in the building.
There's a rumor.
Sources say.
Ooh, that's a rumor.
I'm gonna change. I'm gonna
Sources.
change the
I've heard the
the
rumor.
code so we can't get in.
Sources say the pitch doctor was it next Wednesday, May 10th.
I would like to be the
the
one
rumor.
who is the source. That way I can say that, like, I beat Ryan.
What if
to
he
it.
showed up for the first Mervis game?
That'd be the right day to show up, I guess. Right?
I hope Mervis shows up earlier, and I bet Brendan hopes so,
Yeah,
too.
so Barbara and Fernando both want it clarified. Yes, no show tomorrow.
No show tomorrow.
What? So it's a 1:20 game Friday. So assume like a 12:30 pregame on Friday.
Well, they've been going 12:40. We've been going 12:45 now.
Yeah.
Right around there.
Yeah.
Pregame Friday.
At least a half hour before.
And it'll
the
be
game.
me and Corey
doing pregame on Friday because Luke will not be in.
Dream team.
Dream team.
Dream
I'll be at the
team.
ballpark.
Yeah. And
Yeah, a little
Little
bit.
bit.
We do
Does
have
this
a
look- Joey
we do have
thinks
a
this
Nico
looks like
Horner
Brendan.
head
Looks like
that,
Brendan.
Totally out of
kinda looks
focus,
like
Joey.
Totally
It's
out of
go-
focus.
it's so out of focus.
They got
you
the
can't even-
hair right.
Post the picture.
Try that one, Joey. Let's see. Is this going to be
but
any
it's
better?
just not-
So no show tomorrow. Pregame
how's he
about
gonna
a
do
half
this?
hour ish before the game on Friday, and then post game
Now
right
you have
after.
to take that shot.
For everyone that's confused, shows are on Friday. No show tomorrow on Thursday.
There it is.
there
There's
he
Brendan.
is.
We'll
There's
see him
Brendan.
on May 10th. That's the rumor.
A little bit.
Yeah, it looks exactly like
Barb would like to know if there's any edibles left.
Yeah,
Ask
Robbie's
Robbie.
got you
That's
covered.
the guy to go to. All right. Thanks for checking out the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by DraftKings. Download the app. Use the promo code CHGO when you sign up. Make sure you give us 5-star reviews. Please subscribe to our CHGO Sports YouTube page. We look forward to seeing Brendan Miller, who says, Joey, what an incredible compliment. Thank you. We look forward to seeing you on Friday. Until then, fly the W.